Now, this is where the foolishness starts. I don't know if she was trying to rage bait. I don't know what this lady was trying to do, but this is nonsense. Analyst asserts Caitlin Clark will skip Team USA World Cup invite.
A sports analyst just claimed Caitlin Clark is going to skip the 2026 FIBA World Cup, and suddenly, the internet lost it. Fans panicked, media outlets ran with the story, and everyone assumed she was choosing the Indiana Fever over Team USA. But here's the twist. Caitlin already addressed this. She openly talked about how much the World Cup means to her and made it clear she wants to play. Yet somehow, this analyst went ahead and predicted she's skipping it anyway. This is peak sports media chaos. The real question is, are analysts genuinely convinced by these wild claims, or is it all just clickbait dressed up as insight?
One live stream with Bleacher Report that listed bold predictions for the 2026 season. WNBA analyst Jordan Robinson, quote, "My prediction is Caitlin Clark makes the 2026 World Cup roster, of course, but the timing of that around September, the playoffs are about to start. Indiana could be making a run for the finals because they got that close this past year. But I think she makes the roster, but declines to rest for the playoffs."
On the surface, Robinson's prediction might seem reasonable. The timing is tricky. The 2026 World Cup kicks off in September, right before the WNBA playoffs. If the Fever make a deep playoff run, Caitlin could be exhausted. So yeah, maybe some might think she'd skip the World Cup to rest up for the playoffs. But here's the problem. Caitlin Clark has literally said she wants to play. She said it on a podcast, clear, confident, and without hesitation. And yet somehow, this analyst either missed it, ignored it, or just decided to invent a prediction anyway.
On the court, especially since she hadn't competed since July. While this training camp technically wasn't a tryout, it was the first opportunity for Team USA managing director Sue Bird to see the crop of players she could potentially be picking for the future international hoops events and tournaments. Here it says the most notable of these is the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics, yet there are several important events before that. The biggest one this year is the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup, which takes place in Berlin, Germany in September 2020.
Let's break down what just went down. On January 1st, WNBA analyst Jordan Robinson hopped on a Bleacher Report livestream and dropped what she called a bold prediction for the 2026 season. She claimed that Caitlin Clark will make the 2026 FIBA World Cup roster, but here's the kicker, she won't play. According to Robinson, Caitlin would sit out to rest and focus on bringing a championship to the Indiana Fever. Robinson even painted the scenario. Caitlin sees herself on the World Cup roster, thinks, okay, I probably made the Olympic team too, but I'm just going to sit this one out so I can win a title with the Fever.
Because I want to bring a championship to the Fever. Robinson added of Clark. This was certainly a bold take from Robinson, given how important the World Cup is, especially when figuring out who will be.
Robinson claimed Caitlin might sit out the World Cup to focus on bringing a championship to the Fever. A bold take, considering how crucial the tournament is for shaping the next Olympic roster. But here's what actually happened. On December 31st, Caitlin appeared on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce. She spoke directly about the World Cup and her plans. She explained that the training camp she just attended is the kickoff for the next Olympic cycle. She reminded listeners that the World Cup takes place at the end of September 2026 and pointed out that, just like the Olympics, the WNBA season will pause for the tournament. And then she made something very clear. Hopefully I'm on the team for that. No hesitation. No caveats. Just a direct, confident statement about her commitment to Team USA. 44678.
I also it's weird learning to run again in a way, and then on top of that going to play versus the best players again and just getting tossed out back into the fire. But it was fun. I probably wouldn't have wanted it any other way. You get thrown back out there with the best players in the world and you see you're right where you were before you got hurt, and it was only 3 days, so it was cool. And it was at Duke, which is obviously one of the most historic basketball places ever, so that was a pretty cool thing too, and kind of kicks off the next cycle for preparing for the Olympics, and then we have the World Cup in 2026. So at the end of September. So we'll actually like pause the WNBA season, very similar like how we do when we have the Olympics, right before the playoffs, and then we'll go play the World Cup, which technically the World Cup in the past has almost been harder for us to win because there's more teams that play in the World Cup than qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's harder to win that. So hopefully I'm on the team for that, and obviously my goal is to be on the Olympic team in 2028. So it feels like it's far away, but it's
Let's get something straight. Caitlin Clark is not skipping the 2026 FIBA World Cup. Yet somehow, a WNBA analyst predicted she would sit out to rest for the FIBA playoffs. Fans panicked. Headlines exploded. Social media debated whether Caitlin would choose the FIBA over Team USA. All because one analyst wanted a bold prediction. Here's the thing, Caitlin already told us what she's doing. On December 31st, she appeared on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce. She explained how the World Cup kicks off the next Olympic cycle, how the WNBA season will pause just like it did for the Olympics, and most importantly, she said, hopefully I'm on the team for that. Not maybe if I feel like it, not I'll think about it later. Clear, confident, committed. She even went further. The World Cup is sometimes harder to win than the Olympics because more teams qualify. She wants to compete, she wants to win, and she knows this tournament matters for her future Olympic chances in 2028. Skipping it would make no sense, and Caitlin isn't about making bad decisions. So why did this analyst predict otherwise? Simple. Clicks. Bold predictions aren't bold if they're based on ignoring facts, they're just wrong. And this one was. Caitlin is playing. She wants to be on that team. She's not skipping anything for the WNBA playoffs. The schedule even allows her to do both, play in Berlin in September and return for a FIBA playoff run. No conflict exists, except the one the analyst created. This isn't Caitlin's first time being misrepresented by the media. They said she couldn't handle WNBA physicality. She proved them wrong. They said she'd struggle without her college teammates. She proved them wrong. They said she wouldn't make the Olympic team. She proved them wrong. And now they're claiming she'll skip the World Cup. She'll prove them wrong again. Caitlin is 23, in peak condition, and has already handled heavy workloads, college, WNBA, Olympics. Fatigue isn't stopping her. She's competitive, driven, and she wants to win gold for Team USA and bring a championship to the FIBA. She can do both, and she will. So relax, fans. Caitlin Clark is playing in the 2026 World Cup. She said it herself. Until she says otherwise, that's the truth. The media can make up fake drama all they want, but Caitlin's record, work ethic, and words speak louder than any clickbait prediction. The FIBA will be strong in 2026. Team USA will be stacked in Berlin. And Caitlin. She'll dominate on both stages, proving once again that betting against her is always a mistake.